that lovely music? I think it is. How you doing, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the end of the week. Happy Mother's Day weekend. Colossal weekend here in the Jiminy Flip It household. We have Mother's Day, obviously Sunday. Monday would be my mother-in-law's birthday, mother-in-law Flip It birthday. Also our wedding anniversary. So we have lots going on. And then tomorrow I have a band rehearsal. So it's a quite jam-packed weekend. Lots of stuff, lots of gifts, lots of flowers, but lots of joy. So I hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming in. All you mothers. No, really. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Hey, Charles, how you doing? How are sales? Well. We will get into that with some detail, some frightening detail, Mr. Lowe. Welcome to the show. Hey, Carl, how you doing? Number 2 is here. Number 2 is here before number 1. What's up with that? Anyone else planning their garage sale out for tomorrow? Not me, although weather is ridiculous. 85 degrees and sunny here in southeast Pennsylvania. Driving home entertainment. Welcome, Jim. I'm glad to be your entertainment. Hope you enjoy and get home safely. Thanks so much for coming in. Hi, Lori. Oh, Lori can't hear me, so I'll pretend I could sign language. That's for Lori at work. Thanks for coming in. There she is. Number 1 is here, Queen of Canada. Welcome to the show. Thank you very much for coming in. And actually early. That's unheard of. Florida Man Jim, what's up, man? How are you? Welcome to the show. You were looking at garage sales. They're all in London, and you're not driving yet. Yeah. However, I hear good things about Dawn's progress with her ankle. It's wonderful. You look again in the morning. You guys all having pretty good weather out there in the country. Most of the and in London, quote unquote, Canada. Hello to all the Jims and Lori. Yes. Lyndon. Charles and Carl. Yeah, you might as well just say hi to us. I want to make sure I get everybody in. When we do the listing shows, I can't really post comments, so I want to make sure I make up for that tonight. You're in Strathroy, 30 minutes west of London. Cool. Let's remove one of your points off his board today. Not sure what that means. What's up, Joe? How you doing? Welcome to the show. And hi again, Charles. Your points are secret. What is up, Nova Crow's Nest? How you doing? Good evening to you, sir. Welcome to the show. Sheep Picker, how are you? First time. Welcome to the show. Pleasure to have you. Thank you very much for coming in and stopping by. Happy Mother's Day. If it pertains to you, I think anyone who has a mother, had a mother, or is a mother, all enjoy. So it's a universal celebration. Happy Mother's Day to one and all. But great to have you, Sheep Picker. Thanks for coming in. What's up, Bartomania? How are you? Good to see you, man. Are you on a cruise ship? I wish I was. Love the cruises. Absolutely love the cruises. What's up, Jackie Jack? How are you? Yes, welcome to Sheep Picker. It's really nice to see somebody come in for the first time. You're here for the fellowship and your cha-ching. Vintage Memories, welcome. Happy Friday. Happy Mother's Day. But we all know that the secret to getting the cha-ching, which I've seen, many people have already got the secret. Thumbs up. Thumbs up for the program. Virtually guaranteed a sale within this first window between 6 and 7 p.m. Virtually guaranteed. It was about 80, yeah, which for Canada is like 150, right? What's up, CJ? Welcome to the show. Happy Friday, sir. Welcome aboard. That's right. Hit the like button. Get those cha-chings, which at least maybe the power of all of the collaborative thumbs up will give me a couple of cha-chings. I managed to scrape out a couple of postcard sales, which I'm actually happy about. Sadly, one was for $17. That's big bucks for postcards for me. I was pretty thrilled with that one. I took a best offer. I had a $20 card. Got a nice offer for $17, quite respectable. Took it gleefully. What's up, Believable Blessings? How are you? Welcome to the show. Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you being here. Sheep Picker is a cool name. Got to get the Jiminy dust. Absolutely. Are you listening, Lori, when you're supposed to be working? You made this declaration that you're not. Well, it must have been my sign language. I'm sure it was spot on. What is up, Vintage Codger? How are you? Welcome to the show. Vintage Codger, and anybody else interested in print ads, I did a video this morning and I posted, I think, around noon or 12:30 today, all about a magazine. For those who were on the show on Monday when we did the listing show, that magazine, it's the gift that just keeps giving. I'm up to 50. I'm up to 57, actually. I only had 50 this morning, but 57 ads already out of that issue. So check out the video after the show. If you haven't seen it yet, I'd appreciate it. And just kind of go into some detail about some of the ads in there that you guys might have missed from either on the show Monday, which you could always rewatch, and a bunch that I've listed since then. But there's a lot. 57 ads from one magazine. It's incredible. You've been called a mother. That's why I said happy. Hi to all you mothers. You leave Sunday for an 8th day to Mexico. I knew it had to be soon. That's awesome, man. What's your cruise line of choice? If you're giving you druthers, what's your favorite cruise line? Thumbs. Yes. Hello, hello. Thank you. Mother of 15-year-old twin boys. God bless. And sometimes people may think I'm a mother. Well, nothing wrong with being both. So congratulations to you and your beautiful twins. Hey, Barbara, how you doing? Happy Mother's Day weekend. A little early since we won't be talking on Sunday. I figured I'd say happy Mother's Day to everybody. Hi, Diane. How are you? You had a sale just before you went live. Well, congratulations, Diane. Did you have your notification icon thumbs up, or what was the thing? Click the notification icon. Did you click your notification bell about my show? Because that works just as well. If you do that prior to the show, it counts kind of like a thumbs up. Thumbs up will send it over to the next level. Clearly, you'll get a higher sale. But anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you so much for coming in. Mrs. Flip It, I want to make a little announcement. It's a nice thing. For the first time in not the first time, but for the first time in many months, and maybe the second or third time in the last year and a half, Mrs. Flip It is back at, she's playing with the ponies tonight. She's a horse-loving gal, always loved horses, and she got hurt about a year and a half ago very badly. And, the expression, get back on the horse. She's been reluctant, needless to say, to do that. But tonight being such a beautiful evening here in our area, a summer day, mid to upper 80s, one of the girls at the barn invited her over after work. So she did go over. She just messaged me. She's having a great time. She's going to go get some dinner with a couple of the girls at the barn. I think it's wonderful. It goes a long way mentally with recovering from something like that. When you get thrown violently from a horse, it's almost the equivalent of being like in a car accident and then being skittish about getting back in a car. Same sort of principle. So I'm very proud of her that she's back on the horse. She's not getting on a horse, far from it, but she's in the environment. She's in the barn, things that she's loved since she's a little girl. So I'm thrilled about that. Hi, Connie. How you doing? Good evening to you. And again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, everybody who has a mother or has ever had a mother, which I think represents a good portion of the population. Thank you, Vintage Cadre. I appreciate it. Yeah, it just shows you that, and that's just one example. I've had several magazines that have yielded about that amount. It's a little more than usual, but I'd argue almost any magazine you give me, within reason, you got to find at least 20, 25 really good ads in just about every magazine. So the point of the video was twofold. Was, boy, can you make a lot of money, parting out a magazine rather than just selling a whole magazine. And part two is, don't be afraid to cut them up. I know there's a lot of reluctance out there and people have their opinions about preservation, all that, which is fine, but hopefully you see the value in it. It dwarfs anything you could do. I can't think of any other magazine that would get you $1,000. Maybe there is something out there, but they're going to be 1 in a million. Chappie 55, you saw it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And welcome to the show. Royal Caribbean Carnival Treasure. I'm a princess. I love Princess. We went on Princess, the Regal Princess. I just happen to have a goofy little thing that I keep on my desk because I liked it so much. That's my ship. Beautiful. Posh. See? Regal Princess. That's my tipple when it comes to cruise ships. But I have not been on Royal Caribbean. I hopefully will be. And I also want to get on Norwegian at some point. But have a great, safe trip, Bartomania. Seriously, hope you have a great time. What's up, Lori? You're sitting here without your headset on, see? Don't get caught. Don't get caught. I know, Dawn. I'm proud of her. She's back with the pony. She's just hanging out in the environment, kind of getting acclimated. Being in a barn environment is something that brings her great joy. So it's really nice to see her back out there. I'm very, very proud of her. It took a lot. She was debating whether to go or not. But she did, and she left at what? She's been there since 4 o'clock at 6. So she's having a grand old time. Yeah. Oh, well, if they did, right? Are you really? Yeah. She never was until she got really hurt and violently catapulted by a horse who was the sweetest thing on 4 legs prior to that incident. So that's part of the whole psychological aspect of the injury, is that something that she's never been afraid of. Suddenly she's a little more hesitant than she's ever been. So again, but this is a huge step towards recovery by being there. Moving on, 3095 Mark. What is up, man? Great to have you. Lori's husband, I believe, right? It's great to have you back, man. Welcome to the show. You want to smooch all the ponies? Yeah. I want to smack one of them. The one that betrayed her. You sold a Time magazine for $175. So that's great work, Keith. Welcome to the show, by the way. That's good work. That's really good work. If you care to share what issue that was, I would just be curious what it was. Great channel for listening and learning. Thank you very much. Moving towards postcards and vintage magazines as for your eBay store. Wonderful. Obviously big fans of both of those. Fans of ephemera. I'm a fan, of ephemera in general, clearly. The one downside, if there's a downside, is I think everybody in the room realizes this. They are truly the definition of long tail items. That goes without saying. So it always comes down to, like everybody that you've ever seen talk about says, you need volume. You need a lot of volume of this stuff to make up for the fact that they're slow movers individually. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes. So the more we had another Mrs. Flippett discussion recently. For those of you who may know, we have a bakery. You always see her working right over here. You can still see, actually, those are some baking trays right there. I know it's dark, but I don't have the light on. Well, she's kind of not giving up. She's putting aside the bakery for a bit, for like several months at least, until the fall, to focus more on physical recovery again from the horse accident, because it's been killing her having to do this work. It's pretty intense, believe it or not, the decorating and all that. And she's going to spend more time. She's going to help me out a little bit more with just getting stuff up. I've confided in several people. I mean, there is no reason on earth other than time that I shouldn't have like 80,000 listings, like without question. I have the material. I bet a lot of us do. But of course, it's easy to say, oh, I should have 80,000. It's a huge task and you have to physically do it. And so she wants to help me with that and try to just sort some stuff and get some stuff together and allow me during the day to just plow through. So that's a big, lofty goal. I'd be happy if I could just double what I have right now. But, realistically, we could get that kind of volume. And if I had 80,000 combination of postcards, print ads, and everything else I have, I'd probably be sitting a lot prettier than I am now. Charles Law with a question about sales. They've been lousy. Todd, that's okay. A lot of people are scared of horses. Yeah. They're just very big. It's the equivalent of being on a car, except a car that has a brain and a will and dangerous, loving and gentle and amazing in their own way, but also lethally dangerous, unfortunately. Cool indeed. I got about 50 ads today out of 38. Saturday Evening Post. Great magazine, Chappie. Big fan of the Saturday Evening Post. And that's amazing given the year. Great Depression, full force. World War II still a couple years away for us anyway in America. So that's great work getting 50 out of that magazine. Yeah, man, have a great time. What's up, Brian? How are you? Yeah, I know it's a shock. I know it may come to a shock to many, Brian, but yeah, nothing wrong with National Geographics. It's just they're a dime a dozen, unfortunately. I even had a subscription at one time when I was I think my dad, in fact, I know, was it high school or college? Graduation, he got me a subscription to National Geographic. I still have a bunch of them. That's another untapped resource. Show me. I'll get the scissors out for National Geographic without question. But welcome to the show, Brian. You used Royal Caribbean on your 10th. Very cool. Usually enjoy just hanging out with the horses more than actually riding, which is exactly what she's doing tonight. And a couple of the girls at the barn as well. Your wife and I. That's right. Use the Queen's English when at all possible. Hydron, how you doing? Veranda Files, welcome to the show. Happy Friday. Happy Mother's Day weekend. Hope you're doing well. We're just going to chat tonight for a bit. We did do the listing. Again, check out the video. You can see some of the ads anyway that I've listed. But right now I have 57. I still have 7 I have to put up, but I scanned 57 ads. I listed 50 of them. One magazine. And counting. As I said in the video, I don't see any reason, especially if I dive deep and get those little tiny ads that I talk about often. I describe them as looking like classified ads in a newspaper. I should easily get 75 from this magazine, which is impressive. And the really encouraging thing is that's one of a stack of like 15 of those ladies' home journals, all from around the mid-20s, early mid-20s. So I'm assuming each one of them should get me at least 50. It's a lot of ads. Oh, The God is Dead. That's right. I did see that. That's a very famous magazine. Yeah, 175, solid amount of money for a magazine. No question about it. What's up, Purple Socko? How are you? Welcome to the show. Happy Mother's Day weekend. Early to everybody. No seatbelts. Yeah, exactly. You're going to get 175 ads and stories out of a 1914 magazine. That is phenomenal. Stories, great point. Absolutely. Articles also sell. The one I always bring up because it's one of my favorites is an Elvis 1956, 55, 56. I should know this. Issue of Life has like a 5 or 6 page article all about Elvis, this new phenomenon. I cut them out and I'm selling that individually as a lot of not ads, excuse me, as an article. And they sell too. So there's a lot of meat on the bone in these magazines, folks. There really is. That's great, Purple Sorko. You were flipping through some old Sports Illustrated, sure. What else do you need? Cars, liquor, golf courses. I'm sure there's some smoking ads in there. If you look deep enough, vintage memories. Yeah, probably all great stuff. Your friend of your dad's rode horses for you. Something spooked out and stomped him to death. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. There was a horrible, I don't even want to tell you, but there was a story, a young girl who was a 15-year-old girl got killed last week or something like that. Sort of similar, freak thing. The horse fell, like tripped or something. She was in a competition of some sort. And there's video and all that stuff. But that broke our heart because it just, again, reinforced how lucky my wife, even though she got hurt, she could have easily been killed, paralyzed. It's sobering. I'm really sorry to hear about that, though. But again, 1,000, 1,500 pound animals, very much with their own will, their own desires. Every time you go near horses, your allergies act up. Oh, sorry to hear that. Hay, I think it's more the hay. I mean, there's a lot going on in a barn. There's a lot of things to be allergic to potentially. The grass, the hay, the horses themselves, the byproducts of the horses. Often in a barn, at least this barn, there's other animals there. There's chickens, there's sheep, there's donkeys, there's a dog that runs around, thinks he's in charge of the whole place. So you could be, if you have allergies, it's probably a place you want to steer clear of. Even just the different plants and trees that are out there. It's huge, huge sprawling space, the one that my wife goes to. Saturday Evening Post is much thicker than Life magazines. Yeah, because Life was a brand new magazine, as I mentioned. 36 was the first year. So as such, it's not going to be, as reputable as something as Saturday Evening Post, which was around for much longer. So that makes sense. It took time for, no pun intended, time. I was going to say time for Life to, pick up in popularity and warrant the marketing that it obviously got later on. Sounds like you need to watch your other videos. I would appreciate it, She Flipper. Absolutely enjoy She Picker, excuse me. Enjoy them. Look at Dawn. I was just going to say there's probably that's kind of the print ads 101 thing. If you're interested in print ads, check that out. I think it's 7 or 8 parts. And then there's a bunch of, what's sold style videos. A lot of them feature ads. In recent months, like since last fall, I've become enamored by postcards. So I've directed a lot of attention towards postcards, because it's a brand new thing to me. Less new now because it's been a few months, but still brand new. There's so much to learn. But I really enjoy them. And I do see a parallel between the print ad stuff and the postcard stuff, which is probably one of the reasons I was drawn to them. But you'll see lots of videos about print ads, about postcards, about other tricks and tips and all that stuff. And we have been doing live shows for over, I don't know, since January, February of last year. What is that? 14 months, something like that. Live shows almost every week, almost 2 every week too. So there's lots of material out there. I hope you enjoy it. And please feel free to leave comments and questions to your heart's content. I always read everything and always respond. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, Christopher Reeve. He was doing a steeplechase, wasn't he, when he got thrown? Yeah, it's awful. Well, there you go. Well, then you definitely picked the right channel. She Picker. That's awesome. Yeah, the postcards are great. I'm a big fan of the postcards and the magazines. How many did you say? Loads is fine with me. You don't have to put a number on it. Loads of old women's magazines will probably do you well. Cut them up. Watch my videos. Slice them up. Carve them up. Put them on the grill. Rip them apart. Rip them to shreds. You'll find a lot of money in there. It sure beats selling a magazine for $7 or something. As a whole, you'll be back soon. You need to clean up from cutting up trees and moving mulch. Okay, Keith, you go wash up, and we'll carry on until you get back. Again, it's Friday night. Hopefully, depending on where you're on in the country, it's almost 6:30 here, so dinner's done. All that good stuff is done. I know a lot of people out west, it's still afternoon, which is crazy. Or you'll be getting dinner shortly. But again, I just like to try to keep up with the schedule, say hi to everybody, especially a big weekend like this coming up. For many people, for me, again, we have the triple whammy of Mother's Day, mother-in-law's birthday, and wedding anniversary, all 2 occurring on one day, 1 occurring on the other. And then tomorrow I have to do this big band rehearsal. We have a lot of show announcements that are starting to trickle out. A lot of shows I've been talking about that we couldn't say anything about because it wasn't contracted or the contracts weren't back yet. They're back now, so we're starting to ramp up and announce a lot of the Beatlemania shows. Who was asking me about New England? I think I said this last week or the week before. I forgot who asked me, but a couple of people were asking about New England, and we're playing in New Hampshire, and we're playing 2 in Massachusetts so far, I think. Officially, we're playing more than that, but 3 that we can announce. So if anybody wants to know, let me know, and I'd be happy to let you know where we're playing. And if it's a public show, you're welcome to come out and say hi. It'd be great to see some people. No, it's okay. It's reality. I'm sorry. It's, it's a horrible situation, obviously. Carry on, our wayward seller. That's right. There'll be peace when you're a dweller. I really need to watch your cutting up videos. The thought of it. What does the thought of it do to you? It's not coming up on StreamYard. Oh, you have like I see it. You see how, you guys see when I put the comment up from Sheeppicker, you see how it just has like a little box there? It does happen sometimes. When you guys leave like faces, emojis, or whatever they're called on YouTube, it doesn't show up in StreamYard. I don't know why. So I get these like odd things. Like in this case, it's a square. But if I look over, I can see it's kind of like a face from Sheeppicker. Yeah, don't worry about it. If you watch the end of the video, today's video, the last like, I don't know, 45 seconds or something, I kind of speak to that, people's reservations about, disturbing something that's been intact for all this time and all that. I think I make a pretty good case, not just from a monetary perspective, but from a preservationist perspective. So check out the video. Let me know what you think. Please leave a comment. And again, thanks so much, Sheeppicker. Hopefully you've subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, I'd really appreciate it if you would. Let me know if we come to Georgia. Yeah, I will let you know without question, man. Happy fun times. You found another live show. Welcome aboard. Yeah, it's Friday night. It can mean only one thing, right? Great to have you. Hey, Puddings, how are you? Welcome to the show. Great to have you as always. Speaking of postcards. But yeah, Sheeppicker, a new watcher, new viewer, intrigued by the postcard ephemera print ad magazine thing. So I'm really delighted to have you. I hope you have a good time, and check out what I have. If you have any suggestions or thoughts, please let me know. And that goes for everybody, obviously. Suggestions, ideas, criticisms. I don't care. I'm a big boy. I just come on and gab a little bit. Like-minded individuals. That's a funny term. It's overused, but actually quite appropriate. What's up, Popeye? How you doing? Welcome to the show. Speaking of postcards, Sheeppicker, anybody else who might be newer, this is the man right here, John, Popeye's Postcards. Check him out on YouTube. He makes videos once in a while. Great YouTube channel. Great guy. And an amazing, talented master of all things postcards. Great to have you, man. What is for dinner? Got to ask Popeye what's for dinner because it's Friday night. It's beautiful. I'm sure Popeye is basking in mid-80s temperatures if I am. I'm thinking if I'm Popeye, I might be firing up the grill tonight. I mean, that's just a thought. Oh, the side eye. There you go. Hey, Craven, how you doing? Welcome to the show, man. Great to have you. There you go. Congratulations, Carl. Hope you left that thumbs up. And it gave you good results. Everybody, please, seriously, I'd appreciate it if you'd leave a thumbs up for the video. A byproduct of your generosity is you will probably get a sale, especially within the next 35 minutes if you do so. The first hour is my golden hour with the Jiminy dust. But that's great, Carl. Congratulations, man. Well, thank you. How many? Twice? Yeah, you do a couple of videos. You got bigger fish to fry. That's always, and I understand that for sure. Heating up the pizza oven. Oh, man, that's a great call. I thought about firing up the grill today, but Mrs. Flippett, if you rewind, if you weren't listening, she's hanging out at the barn tonight. The scene of the crime, unfortunately, where she got hurt about a year and a half ago now, but she's going back, hanging out with some girls at the barn, getting back on the horse, not literally, but figuratively. And because of that, I figured, why am I going to fire up the grill if she's not going to be home? You got a twofer. There you go. Shit. Yeah, absolutely. You got to check out Popeye Sheeppicker. If you haven't checked him out, if you want to learn about postcards, that is the man. There's several people that come into this channel. I'm very grateful. Mark, of course, SM Postcards, Connie, CK Postcards, all phenomenal people, first and foremost, and great and generous people when it comes to sharing knowledge about postcards. So check them all out. Check them all out. A glutton for punishment. You always see something you missed. You had a grilled cheese sandwich. You know what? Once in a while, the simplicity of a really well-made grilled cheese sandwich is a great call. Sheep Hicker, excuse me, bought a German World War II leader postcard. German World War II leader, yes. You could say it on this channel. Just don't write it on eBay. A stamp as well, saving this for history, memory for your boys. And no, you can't sell it. Yeah, not on eBay. Although you'd be surprised that we've discussed this in previous shows too. And it's, like I said, it's fair ground to say Hitler. It's fine. It's fine as far as a conversation. That's it. But anyway, yeah, on eBay, you can't say Hitler, I don't believe. You definitely don't want to have anything if it has a swastika on it. What's the year, 32, 33. But there are ways around. I've sold ads. I've never sold a postcard yet with this, but I've sold several ads with Hitler on it or a caricature of Hitler, not really a photo or anything like that, where it's like, a kind of a goofy, like comic strip almost thing. Like, we're getting the bad guys with a hammer and there's a Hitler guy and there's a Mussolini guy, but they don't have swastikas. They don't have anything like that. And they've never been, blocked on eBay. But I know to me, it's just a slippery slope. There's no reason, if you have enough of other things, why even take a chance of getting called out for something like that? I don't think it's worth it. Again, that's a conversation anybody can argue, I guess. But to me, it's just not worth it. There are other outlets to because there's obviously interest in the stuff. It's historical. It's collected without question. And there are other places to sell it, but definitely not on eBay. And it's not kind of thing we're going to celebrate in any way, shape, or form. But there are other outlets to get rid of that stuff if you want. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're not eBay. But you worded it historically, because I think that's what a lot of people do, right? German World War II leader or something. You have to dance around it sometimes, I know. World War I postcards, that's kind of cool. Are there real photos, Carl? Popeye did you do a whatnot with World War II? I might be wrong about that. I saw somebody, I thought it was Popeye. Somebody had a bunch of World War I real photos, like, action scenes and battle scenes from World War I, real photo postcards, which I thought were incredible. The stamp has a swastika. Yeah, so that's an ant for eBay for sure. You got dinged for soldiers wearing German. Did they show swastikas? I think swastika is the deal breaker. If you can see the swastika, just do not. That's me. Do what you want. I would never list anything if it's evident there's a swastika on it. You're gonna get in trouble. I don't know about trouble. You're gonna get the ad taken down without question once they catch it. You bought 1,000 at auction last month. Can't even find comps on some of the World War I German propaganda. Yeah, there you go. Price high, right? Exactly. Let him make an offer, right? Oh, I hear you. Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely understand that. Remember, we are not in any way, I just want to put that caveat out there. We are not celebrating, glorifying, condoning anything of the sort. Just mentioning it for the purposes, because it comes up often, especially with print ads. I'm sure with postcards. I have not come into any postcards with that stuff on it, but the print ads in the 40s, you'll see tons of them. The good news, if there is from an American perspective, when I'm looking at usually Life magazines from the 40s, World War II, like I said earlier, if it's a Hitler, it's never going to be a Hitler ad, obviously. He's going to be in some sort of a character, like a cartoonish form, with the GIs, like I said, pounding him over the head with almost like a Bugs Bunny looking thing, if that makes sense. So that stuff, it's just advertising and it's propaganda and all that good stuff. Obviously, like I said, not condoning in the least. You're going to post some pictures where Dawn tells us not to talk about. Uh-oh. The collection you bought had both World War I machine gun nest. Man. Yeah, that's got to be an outrageously valuable. I would think that would be sky's the limit, man. And of course, you're not going to find a lot of comps because it's not a common thing. That's the one really nice thing about finding stuff like that. They're gems. They're scarce. And to me, scarcity usually yields, higher pricing. Quite a few German postcards. No swastikas they're ever seen. Yeah. Yeah, what is Carl going to... Your ancestor did not make the right choice in that one. Yeah, I know. Mistakes were made, right? Your postcard is not a real photo, but the whole card is a photo of him. Freaky. Oh, really? A photo, an actual photo? It's not like a cartoon or a drawing or illustration or whatever? Yeah. It's a tough call because from a collectability perspective, there's definitely a market for it. It's just eBay isn't the marketplace, and if it's almost inevitable, if you do print ads, if you do many forms of ephemera, if you're in the 40s, even the late 30s, you're going to find him, in some way, shape, or form. It's kind of, it's tricky. It's tricky. More times than not, I err on the side of caution. Just don't list it. That's not worth the grief to me personally. Everybody make their own choices. I know you're downright not allowed to, quote unquote, on eBay when it comes to swastikas. When it comes to, if you write, I'd be willing to bet if you put Hitler in a title of your ad, postcard, whatever it is, you're asking for trouble. You're going to set off red flags. So I just kind of avoid that stuff. Not a cartoon. Okay, just a real photo. It's another thing. Photos. People that just sell Neil, Calamity Photo. Guy does amazing work with photos and stereo views and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure he's got some Hitler photos somewhere, or I'll come across them. What do you do with that? That's, again, I don't think eBay is the outlet. Also, when you were fairly new. Yeah, of course, man. You'll live and learn, right? No, I totally understand. Not condoning, just stating facts. Neil is indeed the photo king. Neil is on a different level with that stuff. It'd actually be a nice, not nice, it would be an interesting conversation. He comes into the show once in a while. If he does, if you are listening, Neil, I'd be curious to see if you've come across photos and what do you do with them of Hitler? Even we just keep saying Hitler. What about Mussolini? What about Stalin? These are all bad, bad people. Hirohito, bad people. Bad people. Wouldn't want any of them glorified. You just confirmed one of my bandmates just confirmed our practice tomorrow. I said, yes, that is confirmed. New kid. He's actually kind of trying out, but hopefully he'll do well. But yeah, that's I'm glad you brought it up, Sheep Picker. It comes up every couple of shows, actually, what to do about that kind of stuff. I would read this. I know eBay has a blurb about how to handle that stuff. Basically, like we mentioned, saying pretty much don't list it, with few exceptions, and it's kind of convoluted, and I just personally don't want to get wrapped up in that nonsense. It's not worth for a $20 picture or ad or whatever. Is it really worth all the grief potentially? And not to me, it's not. Just want to give a quick gander over at my eBay screen, see if anybody, if I sold anything to anyone, because I left myself a thumbs up tonight. I said, that's how desperate I got, folks. Let's go to Charles's initial question at the beginning of the show. Hey, Marty, how are sales? Well, let me just tell you, Charles, and everyone watching and listening. Sales are brutal again. I mean, I didn't have any 0 days this week, which is nice because the previous week I did. Not a common thing, but it happens to everyone, I would imagine. And it's depressing when it happens to anyone, but it's reality. So I didn't have any 0 days. I had some really slow days. Today I sold a $17 postcard. I took a best offer. It was up for $20. Took a best offer for $17. Gleefully accepted the $17, by the way. That's a big dollar card for me. I'm mentioned it many times. I live in that $10, $7 to $12 range for the majority of the stuff so far, with very few exceptions. So 17 is pretty good for me. I'm thrilled about that. It's another 1939 World's Fair linen card, $17. Happy with that. And then I sold a card from one of Popeye's Whatnot auctions, actually, New Jersey postcard. So at least there's a couple of sales in the bank today, but in general, just really bad. I've tried to do all the tricks, quote unquote, that we all talk about. The ends and sell similars, markdowns, coupons, volume discount for multiple purchases. I got everything I could possibly throw at eBay to stimulate activity. Plus, not to mention just everyday new listings. And John will tell you, list you sell. It's true. You'll sell eventually, but it's just something, whatever. Something's going on. I don't know what it is. Not a conspiracy theorist at all, but something's going on. At least I think. Congratulations, Barbara. Barbara Engro with a sale. Thank you very much. Hopefully you left a thumbs up. See, good things happen to those who leave a thumbs up. but saying what you find is a bit different than seeking out certain things. Oh yeah, I agree. You had eBay. My goodness, excuse me. Relist over 220 sold items. Known problem. Yeah, very yucky week. Well said, Vintage Memories. You had eBay relist over 220 sold items. Wow, that's crazy. I haven't come across that. Well, there's not right. Saddam. I mean, there's unfortunately a bunch of these clowns that have been around for millennia. You know, what's up, Cameron? How you doing? Welcome to the show, man. Hope you're doing well. Speaking of, you watched the first 3 episodes of Queen Cleopatra. Okay. What's up, Kelly? Yeah, there's always a summer slowdown, but my summer slowdown started in March, so I'm not buying into that nonsense. Although there's a lot to it, there is a summer slowdown in general. Left a thumbs up. You better get a sale. Yeah, I know. You and me both, man. It's been woeful, unfortunately. But again, I'm not gonna keep crying about it, right? Just keep listing things, and you got to believe somewhere in your heart that the tide will turn, and when it does, you'll be in a better position than you were before it all went down. You know, more listings. You sold a $20 Vietnam postcard. Interesting. Cool door gunner photo. Nice. That a girl. Thank you, Barbara. I appreciate it. I knew you would. Barbara, longtime viewer. Wonderful to have her every single time. What's up? Everybody saying hi to Cameron. Oh, my goodness. My back is killing me. I did not. Remember I said on Monday, boy, do I need a new chair. Not just for the noise, but it's killing my back. And Kelly said, go get a pillow. Quit your whining. One theory you saw YouTubers mentioning is that eBay is changing categories up on May 16th. Always a possibility. It's happened many times before. It will continue to happen in the future. And I think it's plausible without question. There's a lot of theories out there. I watched another YouTuber as well citing the whole international shipping thing that went into effect a month ago, or whatever it did, and a whole bunch of people seem to see a one-to-one relationship with the date that went into effect and a sudden slide in activity, sales, traffic, all that stuff. Maybe that's possible. One of the solutions offered by that show was basically turn off international shipping or opt out while it's still in a beta phase that it is right now, and supposedly the faucet flows again after that. I don't know. I think if you watch 10 different channels, you'll get 10 different theories about why sales stink. You'll get people like Kelly who just come in with the reality of it is a slower time. It's, we're really in the middle of spring actually, but summer's on the way and thoughts meander to travel and all that stuff. That's an absolutely valid point, and that is a cyclical thing. But sometimes, like for me, it's been since March. March was lousy for me. March is usually, for whatever reason, last 3 or 4 years has been one of my better months. And this March was terrible. April was atrocious. May is the worst I've ever had. So this past week was the worst I remember ever having since 2017 or so, when I really started doing this, all the time. So again, I know it'll turn around eventually. And maybe there is a real, aside from the regular slowdown nonsense, maybe there is something to eBay tweaking. I don't know. RD Shorts, what's up, man? You have 2 ladies' home journal from 1892 and 1894. Well, the first thing I would do is just search the magazines. Good luck. I would imagine there aren't going to be many comps, if any, for something that old. My oldest is 1896, so you actually beat me by a couple of years. Check it out. Do you have WorthPoint, RD Shorts? If you want to look at maybe WorthPoint, I'd be happy to look it up for you. There's a few people in here that have a WorthPoint subscription. Maybe we could try to find it or help you. I would do a comp on the magazine as a whole, just for fun. But if you watch my show for any period of time, my answer is going to be cut them up, because something from 1892, one ad is probably worth more than the whole magazine, I would imagine. But I would do a little research, check for some comps if there's any that exist. Hey, Vintage Vaughn, how you doing? A great early evening, okay? Yeah, I guess it's still early evening. 6:41 here. Still bright and sunny. It's crazy. It's been getting dark after 8, like 8:15 now. It's crazy, crazy. Purple Circle. Several months ago, eBay relisted 130 sold items. Really? I was going to say, how did you know? Like, it depends on how many listings you have, but 130 could kind of slip in for a lot of people that have larger stores. 130, especially if they're kind of scattered within your listings, if they don't pop right to the front. I don't know if they were all new listings when this happened, but for me, I mean, it might be for many people that have dwarf me in volume, I would imagine that might be troublesome, trying to find how did you suddenly realize 135 listings came back in, You have to really be on top. It goes without saying. You need to be on top of your store, your inventory, your numbers, all that stuff. Be active, be, always tweaking things. It's unfortunate, yet I've also said I think it's a godsend, the fact that we could do so much with eBay. We can manipulate things. We have all these tools to supposedly help us, marketing tools and tactics. And I'm grateful for having them. It's just a shame they have to be used so often. But I guess that's just the nature of the beast. If you had a storefront somewhere, you run sales, you do things, you try to attract business. Same sort of principle, just in a virtual paradigm. Know what I'm saying? Hand pink waving. So that's what I see. Hand pink waving. And then face red heart shape. You couldn't find much data. I would go ads, RD. I mean, that's just me. I would go ads. Or go for the moon. If you can't find any comps at all and you have a magazine intact in decent shape from 1892, put it up for like $250 and see what happens with the best offer, or run an auction on one of them. Me personally, I would check it out. The beautiful thing about a magazine that's 120 years old or whatever it is you're going to probably find a whole bunch of ads for companies that don't exist anymore, that were fleeting, for products that don't exist anymore. I mean, I come across that all the time, but something from the 1890s would be really, really unique, which again, my position is that, scarcity, uniqueness equates to value, higher value, supply and demand. I sent you a birdie video. Ooh. Hopefully they can mess up the postcard category. Oh yeah, Papa, how did you handle? And I have all you guys who were doing the postcards, because I'm brand new at it. How did that just wreak havoc when they did that? When they consolidated all those categories down to 2? I wasn't doing postcards. I probably had some postcards listed, but I'm talking like 20, maybe not even. That must have been absolute hell for everybody that has tens of thousands of postcards on eBay. Weird thing is you had a great week and you were on vacation mode. Well, good for you, Keith. The heck is that thing? A green squiggly thing. Refraining from commenting and more suck it up buttercup and stop focusing on yesterday and work on today. There you go. Absolutely. That's true. Sha-la-la-la-la, live for today, as they once said. 341 for the West Coasters. There you go. Hey, what's up, Sandy? How you doing? Sorry, my phone blocked at the beginning of your name. I was like, I recognize that face. Your sales have tanked. You've been on new international shipping for months. There's supposed to be some parallel. That's at least one of the theories, is that there's a parallel between being in the beta testing and significant drop-off in traffic and sales. Take it with a grain of salt. Again, watch 10 different channels. You'll get 10 different rationales as to why sales are terrible. I mean, it's an interesting theory, especially when people could pin it to a specific date. Sometimes that is true. And now we have this, apparently this new category reshuffle coming up in a few days. Maybe that is creeping, or influencing in some way the way the traffic is divvied up. I don't know. If any of us knew this, we wouldn't all be speculating. Have I ever bought? I have not, no, because I got all my magazines at estate sales. But I did see Kelly had posted something about, I think he was picking up a bunch of ads that were already cut out for nothing, hundreds of ads for nothing. So I guess like anything else, that kind of stinks, because it's almost equivalent of, a lot of postcard people complain when people do like a 99-cent sale, free shipping on postcards. It dumbs down the whole thing. It's like somebody going out a gas station across the street and, marking gas for 35 cents a gallon. It just takes the whole market down with it. So that's kind of the equivalent, the print ad thing. If somebody's going to put 500 print ads up for $50 or whatever obscene amount it was, dumbs down the whole thing. But what are you going to do? But no, I have not bought any. I haven't had to yet on eBay, but I'm sure it's an option. The thing is with if you watch my videos, if you've heard me spiel about this stuff for the last year and a half almost, almost any magazine, yes, there's exceptions, almost any magazine, I would have zero reservation of cutting up and getting ads out of it. So if you can go on, if you don't have an outlet to pick up old magazines that are in decent shape, if you wanted to try, like people do all the time with postcards, go on eBay, see if you can find magazine lots or something. I guess that's what you would search for, and take a chance. If they look to be in decent condition, if you want to go back and forth maybe and message the seller and, confirm that they don't have like any mold or water damage, they don't reek, any of those things that we all, try to shy away from, maybe it's worth it. If you can get a magazine for $1 or $2 or even $5, you sell one ad, you're going to triple your money. So it's a great investment without question. I would do it if I needed to. Dawn's saying she's right. What's up, Leland? How you doing? That's okay. Welcome aboard. Happy Mother's Day weekend to everybody. Again, if you've just come in, and Kelly's been using international shipping and no change sales. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you ask 10 people, you'll get 10. It was just it was a pretty big YouTube channel too, which I had never heard of, but stumbled on my feed or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. Watched it. Nice channel. And he was just theorizing. He didn't make a statement that said, this is why, but he just said, several people have noticed that. And then what they supposedly, all the people, at least in the comments of the video, pretty much without fail, everybody that took off that option, which is a little convoluted way to get, it's actually pretty simple, but you have to go in. If you want to opt out of that option, supposedly it turned the faucet on. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's true for a certain segment of the population. It could be, 10 different things all in play, and it affects different people and different stores at different levels. That's a possibility too. That it's probably likely that there isn't one root cause. There's a whole bunch of conditions that have to be met, to be successful or not successful, or have traffic or not have traffic. But to Kelly's point, it's true. I'm really not one to whine. I don't just get onto the videos with the moping. Oh, I did do one, which was funny. The moping faces, or I give up, and all these, corny things that people do, and sales have tanked and all that stuff. There are absolute ebbs and flows in every business, not just eBay, and things happen, and world conditions change and markets change, and you got to go with the flow. You have to adapt or get eaten alive. That's all there is to it. So you move on. You look at my remedy when things are awful like they've been for me personally for a while is just keep listing stuff, because when the smoke clears, and it will, because everything does come around, I'll be in a better position. I'll have more stuff ready to sell. That's all. Nothing wrong with talking about theories about maybe this is a reason and maybe this is a reason, all of which might be true, or none of which might be true. None of us really know. We know the things we can control with good titles, good photos, all the cliche stuff. It's true. Your pricing structure plays a huge role in it. To an extent, your feedback, although I know that's not nearly as important as it used to be, but that used to be a big condition, if you will, to get your listings up higher. Now, of course, you have the ability to pay for, promoted listings. So many different parameters are in play. I don't think it's one thing. Do the best, control what you can control, which is the amount of stuff you list, the quality of the items you list, the titles, the photos, and your pricing. That's all. Run sales, be aggressive, be in there, churn your items, turn over items, work hard at it, take it seriously. What's up, Jeff? How are you? I do. I really do. Not going to be listing for $5 each. You're still going to list them for $10. The guy doing it doesn't have a ton up. Yeah, no, definitely. No, I'm not talking about you selling them. I'm talking about the guy that's selling a lot for nothing. Thumbs down the whole, brings down the market for it. That's all. Like 99-cent postcard people. Totally agree at Dawn. I wouldn't seek it out in collecting, just a different genre. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, encyclopedias you can't give away anymore. It's true. They used to be soaks, but for those of us of a certain age who remember, way, way before internet times, encyclopedias were a fortune. Thousands of dollars, like 1,000. Encyclopedia Britannica, I remember really well, like in 8th grade or something. I think we got like a whole set of encyclopedias. It was a huge investment, very expensive. Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Congratulations, Dawn. Took a $21 offer. That's awesome. Congratulations. Very, very happy for you. Your pricing right when you get nasty emails. Been a while since you got one. You've only been selling for 3. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's very true. Every sale is an exciting event. They still are, by the way. Truth be told, they still are. I remember like the thrill when they came out with the mobile app, which I don't know how long it's been, but not that long relatively to when eBay started. It was such a thrill to hear the cha-ching sound. It was just like I would jump out of my chair. Oh my God, did you hear that? You know, such a rush, and it still is. But I'll tell you, the silence is deafening. When you don't hear that cha-ching, oh my God. Hi, Sandy. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Sandy's sneaking in with a nice dawn. Welcome to the show, Sandy. Happy Mother's Day to you. Ever saw Hell's Angels postcards? I have not, but I'd be willing to bet Popeye probably has. Connie probably has. Kelly might have. I haven't, though, no. Any issues with selling Hell's Angels postcards? I'm sure somehow that's okay. I don't know why, but I don't know. And Dawn doesn't hear the ching because it's silent. Oh, okay. Oh, I always have my phone blasting just so I can hear the ching. And my wife and my dad, if he needs to help or something, and I'm down here working and he's up on the 3rd floor and I can't hear him. Yeah, that's a good question by Charles. Anybody ever seen or sold or tried to sell Hell's Angel postcards? Because I have not. Oh, this chair. Thanks. You're welcome, Sandy. Welcome aboard. I've seen a lot of people get cha-chings tonight. That makes me very happy. I love to see all of us doing well. I hate when things are not going well. And I wish I could change it with a magic wand. So the best I could do is do shows and, you know, try to keep spirits up and talk shop, learn a little bit. What else can you do, right? Or you just pack it up and call it a day. It's an option too. Pillow? Pillow over your phone? I'm not sure what that means. Go take a picture of them and see how that goes. A picture of, I'm sorry, what? Hell's Angels? You actually saw an MC club driving through Ottawa last weekend? Motorcycle club? Is that what that means? A volume of the encyclopedia is what you took to the bathroom. Absolutely, man. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Again. Oh, yeah. It's killing me, man. It's hurting my back. I got to get a new chair. You drove really carefully by them. Cool. Joe, sheep picker, you've been selling 20 years. You're still happy with the sale. That's what I was saying. Always happy. CJ, you never saw a Hell's Angel postcard. Well, then I would think, Charles, that if you have one, it's probably pretty unique. CJ, let me just tell you something. I tried the WD-40. We had the thing flipped over. We had all kinds of things. That's just the noise, but it's beyond the noise at this point. The noise is annoying enough, but it's just a matter. It's just wearing out. That's also the pillow is Kelly Rowe pillow. I mean, unless I go get some new cushioning material, which I guess you could do, and cushion the seating area and the back area. It's just lost a lot of its, cushiness. So it's hurting my back. And being arthritic in my back and all that stuff, it's just not fun. It hurts. It hurts. What's up, Happy Fun Times? Don't ever recall an encyclopedia, the bathroom, a newspaper, but not an encyclopedia. Well, it depends on how bad you got to go. Encyclopedia means just settling down for the night. If the postcard isn't produced, distributed by Hell's Angels, I think it would be more worried about them suing. Ooh, that's interesting. The best thing you could do for your body is get a new chair. Agreed, Sandy. Agreed. Yeah, just got to go out and get it. And I'm not one. I mean, I know it's very in vogue to get everything online nowadays. There's certain things I refuse, like a chair. I'm not going to, or a car. You can even order a car online, apparently, but I digress. A chair, I want to go sit in the chair, test it out, make sure it fits and all that stuff. I fit in it. It's comfortable. So it requires a trip out to Chairs R Us or whatever. I don't know. Whatever store might have desk chairs. I guess like what you call it, Staples or something. Hey, Lisa, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Great to have you. Look at Kelly reading my mind. Exactly. Staples, and you can test it out. Yeah, that's a given. You have to go and test out a chair. Yes. Agreed. No Amazon for the desk chair. Although you could buy them on the. I'm not doing that. Not happening. That's my upper back that's killing me, which is not good because it's the lower back that has the arthritis. The upper back should be all right, but the chair is killing me. All right, we have 4 minutes. If you haven't left a thumbs up, everybody, I'd really appreciate it. And for your own sake and sanity, try to get that thumbs up if you haven't already done. If you have done, I thank you very much for your graciousness. Best furniture store name you've ever seen. Shack of Sit. That's funny. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. You would never buy shoes without trying. That's another great example. Most clothing. I'm not just going to buy clothing, that, a size is for anybody. And a lot of people sell clothing on eBay, obviously, or at least started. Most of us probably started with clothing. Anybody who has knows all too well that sizes, an extra large for one brand could be radically different than an extra large for another. So yeah, I would never go on Amazon and buy, I want an extra large black t-shirt, got to try them on. Sheep picker. We'll let it slide because you're new, but thank you very much. If you leave that thumbs up, hopefully a sale will be coming your way. You're getting it in right at the last 2 minutes, so I can't guarantee it. Your guarantee is that first hour, pretty much guaranteed. But after that, it goes down minimally. Thank you very much. Bend backwards over your kitchen counter for mid-back. And you hit the like. Okay, thank you. Sandy, physical therapist, background in physical therapy? Yoga, anything like that? I'll never forget when I was in second grade. This was in the early to mid 70s, I guess, 74, 75. Our teacher, a second grade teacher, one of my favorite teachers, I'm going to call it Mrs. Hagan. She's no longer Mrs. Hagan. I actually found her on Facebook after 40 whatever years, 45 years, more than that, 47 years. Reached out to us. Anyway, she was like in her early 30s at the time, teaching a bunch of 8-year-olds or whatever we were. And, where all the other kids in gym class were doing like volleyball or whatever you were doing at 8 years old in gym. You know what our class did? We did yoga. She used to bring a record player in and put on like Zen music. And we'd all be standing there doing Salute to the Sun. I'll never forget that one. A couple of things. So I was doing yoga when I was 8 years old. And she was a major hippie and all that stuff and thought it was cool for the kids. My mother loved her. My parents loved her. She was like the same age. She was the coolest teacher in the school. But of course, all the other old teachers hated her. They were probably 40. Hated her and thought she was, radical and a hippie and all that stuff. But I'll never forget. Just good times. I used to do yoga when I was 8. You'd buy shoes if they're the same pair you already had. Yeah, I guess that's true. Curl Up and Die is a funny name for a hair place. No, I'm a very limber guy. Former athlete. Former quasi-professional athlete. I don't talk about that often, but there's a lot going on with this kid you're watching here. Let me just tell you. A lot of history. Bad back, lots of therapy. Cool. Yes, she's just teasing. CJ, you're picky about your shoes because you need them to be lightweight to play drums. Yes, that's for sure. And they make incredibly lightweight shoes nowadays that virtually my wife wears for what the heck did she buy them for? Can't remember. Some sort of training thing that she was doing a couple of years ago. And these things, I mean, they are almost weightless. It's ridiculous. I don't know. They probably last about 2 weeks, but boy, are they light. It's still moving. You got to move. My wife's grandmother, who turned 100 last March, everybody always asks people when they turn 100, what's your secret? What's your secret? Her secret is she had like a heart valve replacement when she was 65. But other than that, for the last 35 years, her secret has been keep moving. And she's right. Like 100 years old, she seriously still like scrubs the floor on her hands and knees. Walks up the stairs up until I think about 4 or 5 years ago, she moved in with my in-laws. But up until that point, she was by herself. About an hour away from us north, hour and a half, Allentown, actually, guys, who went to the postcard show. And we used to go up once in a while, my wife and I, on the weekends. And she was a widow, unfortunately, since I think she was about 55 or so. And she was independent, lived by herself all the way up until she was about 95. And that was her key to life, her key to longevity after the surgery that saved her life 35 years ago was keep moving. So I take that to heart. Sitting here trying to figure out what you want to list tonight. Endless piles of Popeye cards. A good and a bad problem to have, I guess, right? It's good to have the stuff. But yeah, decisions, they can be overwhelming for many people. I know that. What to do? Well, my big thing is definitely going to be obviously still working on my postcard haul and getting some more magazines up, because the magazines are almost child's play for me from a uh, research perspective. There's very few that trip me up, I think, anyway. I'm always welcome to be made wrong. Like, I'll tell you what, like the magazine I have in the video today and that we worked on Monday, that's an example of one I like to do a little more research on or look into a bit, because again, like who was saying earlier about the 1892 magazine, there's going to be a lot of really unique, crazy items in those magazines that you're not going to see, most likely anyway. You probably still see Coke ads and things. There's going to be a lot of unique stuff that probably necessitates a little more looking up of things, but the vast majority of the stuff I have when it comes to print ads, it's like a machine for me. Postcards, because I'm finished with the World's Fair stuff now, finally. I'm going to be going into Christmas greeting card kind of stuff, which I know lots about. So that's going to slow me down. All right, Lori has sound. Just in time, too, Lori. Just in time. Move it or lose it, says Sandy. Sounds like a t-shirt. Keep a long life. Keep moving and don't remarry. That's funny, too. Yep, and have heart surgery when you need it, too, to save your life. Or you would have been dead at 65. That's a big difference. Take the kids and run. Here I am saying Happy Mother's Day to all you. And you're grabbing the kids and running? What's up with that? Marty, you finally ordered the 18-inch trimmer. Get out. All right, man. Congratulations. It's a great product. Seriously. I know I've talked about it for eons. It's really good. Hope you enjoy it. I know Dawn has it, loves it. A few other people have it. Slice and dice, baby. And for somebody like you, Kelly, who obviously is mostly postcards, it'd be a little bit of fun, in quotes, to get out of that for a little bit and go to something newer like print ads. Just breaks the monotony a little bit anyway, I think. Like, it's funny, after doing postcards for these few months, it's exciting for me to go do a couple of magazines. It's like, oh, let me just do something different even if it's for a day or for a couple of hours. It breaks a little bit of the monotony, although I'm not bored of postcards in any way. I love doing them. But it's fun to do something a little bit different anyway, once in a while. Mix it up. Variety, spice of life, something like that. You happy you sold a Missouri State Prison band postcard for $51 just now, Lisa? In general, that's awesome. But if it was now, it's even better, because that means you must have left the thumbs up. And it means that the Jiminy dust isn't stale yet. $50 on Amazon. Hope we're dropping them. Yeah, it's I know you have the product to warrant having something like that. You have enough ads for me for sure and whatnot, plus whatever else you've picked up. It's money well spent, Kelly. An investment. You took a $7 offer. Cool. Congratulations. I'll take a $7 off right now, as long as the card isn't worth $500. I won't take a $7 off on a $500 item, but a $7 off on a $10, absolutely. I don't have a built-in percentage. Do you guys have anything in mind? I know obviously there's ways you could set up your listing to allow offers, that exceed a certain amount or a certain percentage. You could break it down that way. But just mentally, does everybody kind of have in their mind how much of a discount they're willing to accept generally? Or is it kind of an item by item basis? For me, it's kind of an item by item, or category by category, I should say. Excuse me. All things being equal, like if most of my print ads sell around single pages, $15 to $20, in my head, I think, if they make me an offer of 12, even 11, I'll probably accept that. It's reasonable. If they make me an offer of 7, I'm declining it hard. But I don't really have like an exact percentage across the board. If they don't get at least 50% or whatever, more than that, if they don't offer at least 65%, I'm not taking it. I don't hard decline stuff like that. Again, there is functionality. If anybody doesn't know that, within eBay, you could set it up to not allow, and just this way you don't even get the aggravation of the low ball offers. I think everybody has their own mindset about what they consider to be a low ball offer. It might vary depending on product, depending on your own acceptance. Might also depend on how woeful sales have been. You might be able to lower that standard just slightly. I resist doing that desperately, because you don't want to do that, because once the door opens and people know, oh, he'll take offers 40% off or 50% off, that becomes the norm. They're going to think, what the heck? I can't get 50% off again. So I try to maintain some standards, but I don't have a fixed amount anyway, personally. It's kind of an item by item. You're amazed how interesting postcards and history. Absolutely, me too. Big time, Sandy. I'm right there with you. We're both falling hard. Kelly, max 30% off unless you're clueless on value. You go 50. So you'll go all the way up to 50. So it's kind of an individual item by item thing for me anyway. But 30%, that's reasonable. So if you get an offer for 70% of the value, you'll often take it. That's definitely in my, like the example I just gave, $7 on a $10. Yeah, I'll take that. That's, to me, that's fair and reasonable. Low ball is if somebody, to me, is kind of what Kelly said, lower than half to me is low ball. I'll dance with them a little bit if it's a $20 ad and they offer 10. I'll offer 15. I'll counter 15. But if they offer like 6 or 5, it's just deleted. It's declined. You sold an X-Men card. Congratulations, Lori. It's because you turned your sound on. Multitasking at work. Yeah, totally. Very easy to get lost in them. It's also a time suck if you get lost in them. So I try to enjoy them for what they are fleetingly and get them listed. Otherwise, you just sit there looking at cards all day and not listing any. 10% discount across the board. That's your maximum acceptable offer, Jim? That's a aggressive number right there. Don't offer less than 90% of the value or Jim will deny you. 30% hard decline at 50. Yeah, there you go. You're on par with Kelly and kind of me without putting a percentage on it, but just mentally, like I said, if I look at individual items, and it probably does equate to about 50%. If it's less than 50, I think that's a cheesy low ball offer. 50, I will entertain. I'll go back and forth with you at 50. It means you're not a complete idiot. You're not offering me $2 on a $20 item, but you're trying to be a cheapskate. So I'll play. Some people just like to play, go back and forth. You know what I mean? Ping pong. They think they're getting over, not realizing that you spent 5 cents on this item. Or maybe they do realize it and don't care. 30% decline and move on. Vintage memories. A lot of very, I like that. I respect it. I respect that people have their standards and they stick by them. Good times or bad, right? Be consistent. Hey, that's 944 more than you had, right? You're doing churches. Don't want to, but the pile is too high. There you go. Good way to get them down, right? Church cards going up. Oh, my God. 10% on offers, you send out 30% on offers from buyers. There you go. So there's a 10% on offers sent. Yeah, I was talking about more offers you get in, Jim, but that's a good question too. Yeah, what sort of offers do you send out to watchers? I've gone way beyond. I go to like 25%. Depends on the item, again. Depends on what the pricing is. Like my cheapest items are usually postcards, and they're usually the cheap postcards. I think 5 is my cheap. $4.99 is my lowest price card. I wouldn't do 25% off of a $5 card. That's ridiculous. To me, it's just, again, if you don't have $5, don't bother being on eBay. What are you doing looking for stuff? If you want to spend $1, You sold this at an auction. Do you guys use auction much? I could throw that out to the group. I very, very scarcely use auctions. I think it's a good tool when warranted. If it's something you really have no idea, vis-a-vis like the World War I photo, either go for the moon with the pricing or put an auction out there and see what the market will bear. I think it's a good thing to do once in a while. I've heard horror stories of people. I don't know what the numbers are nowadays. It's been a while since I've done them. I've auctioned off records here or there. I love to sell records, but I've heard some horror stories about the percentage of people that win auctions that pay is pretty lousy. And I don't know what recourse any of us have. eBay supposedly gives you a little ding, whatever that means, on the buyer account for not paying. But so that would aggravate me if I waited 10 days for an auction and you think you got this great, sale and then they don't pay. That's kind of lousy. And then you're in the then you lost 10 days and now you're not going to get the $200 item you thought you were going to get. And then I would second guess, do I do another auction and wait another 10 days, or do I just say, forget it, I'm going to put it up as a buy it now for whatever amount? Depends on the item. When you send out offers, you do 10. Okay, then every week you in and relist 50. Oldest hard goods and lower by 10%. That's a good approach, good strategy too. Manipulating pricing is a great way to, without having to go through the entire inventory and doing this end sell similar, which is very popular right now. I partake in it. Lots of people partake in it. But that's another great strategy. Just moving your prices up and down supposedly tweaks the algorithm. They said the photo, if you change your photos, that has an impact. I think to an extent your title probably does too. And certainly the pricing. Move things up a buck or two, move things down a buck or two, play with pricing. It supposedly stirs up activity, and eBay likes activity, that's for sure. Cassini likes activity, if it's still called Cassini. Double thumbs up. There you go. What's up, Mark? How you doing? Happy Mother's Day to Mrs. Mark. Great to have you, man. We're talking nonsense, actually. So Mark's in the right place. Kelly is saying to Lisa, I don't, but you've been told that auctions get higher results over buy it now. So it may depend on it totally depends on what you're selling. Yep. Everything depends on what you sell. You price high and run sales and send offers all day long. Great. Yeah. Got to be active, right? It's not a set it and forget it condition, at least in my world. Depends on what you sell. I'm sure there are certain products I guess you could sell and just put a price on and let it roll. If you have access, I always use the analogy of iPhones. If you have like an endless supply of iPhones that you can get for $1, God bless you, and you sell them all day for $400, $500, you could sell 2 phones a day and be pretty wealthy, and not really have to fluctuate and go up $1 and down $1 because the price kind of is the price. Standardized items like that. Occasionally do an auction, but not too much. Dawn does auctions. That's cool. Yeah, I can't think of the last one I've ran. I think it was probably a record, if anything. Yeah, auctions used to be the way. Auctions was the only option originally. It was an auction environment, eBay. And it's slowly over time it's become, I think people's, Amazon's explosion in recent, decade or whatever it's been, that Amazon's just like dominated, and their business model, which everybody uses now, of this online shipping thing and online purchasing, changed the paradigm completely. Where people used to be fine with, anybody remembers eBay when it started, which I do clearly, and I know Popeye was already doing it. You used to send checks in the mail to get your items. Like you didn't have electronic payment methods unless you gave somebody a credit card. You'd send a check. So like the time was understood that it would take a period of time, days, weeks, even, to get stuff, not internationally, but from Joe Blow down the street. You won, a baseball card from somebody that lives a town over from you. They had to put it in the mail, and they had to wait for you to give them a check. And anyway, with the Amazon stuff and the online instantaneous everything has kind of changed the culture. So I think that's one of the reasons auctions have fallen out of favor slightly, is that people don't want to have to wait 10 days to get something. They want it now. Everybody wants everything now, yesterday. Order food from Walmart and it comes in an hour. It's crazy. The lack of patience is amazing to watch. How most people have fallen into that now mentality. You have one auction scheduled on a Sunday. Oh, cool. And that's always just a parlay here. Everybody traditionally would start auctions on Sunday, and if they run it for a week, because supposedly Sunday evening actually is like the time when most people are doing this kind of activity, family time, whatever. When I worked at the reservation center for Disney, that was also the busiest night, was Sunday night. People were, after their meal, gathered around and, let's talk about our vacation. That's when the phones would just explode. You price 25 to 30% higher than what you want for the item. Yeah, exactly. Somebody calls that perceived value. My argument is all value is perceived, because nothing really has any value. It's what we all agree something is worth. All value is perceived. That's a good idea. Yeah, a lot of people do that. You should always price up, right? You want wiggle room to run sales, to accept offers. They're selling outside of certain categories. They're paying a lot of insertion. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, what is the number? Again, Canada, if everybody knows, Dawn, of course, Queen of Canada, they have some sort of different rule in Canada when it comes to auctions. Isn't that right, Dawn? Like you don't have the unlimited, not necessarily auctions, I guess buy it now. So you don't have the virtually unlimited listings every month without the insertion fees like they rolled out a couple years ago. It's not limitless. That's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean? Lots, where we used to pay on every one. In your shorter time experience, you've bantered when they offer 50% and haven't closed a deal yet. I gotta reread this. In my short timer experience, you've bantered when they offer 50% and haven't closed a deal yet. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to reread it or rewrite that. Yeah, I mean, laziness. People want everything. It's not lazy. It's that hurry up mentality. I want something now. Uh-oh. Yeah, they can hear me. I hope you can hear me. You rarely do auctions, but you will if you're not sure what something's worth. Right, that's the ideal situation. Yep, that's the tried true method right there, right? Yes, says Callie. Good. Everybody hears me. Cool. You hit the mute button and the thumbs up button, which I appreciate, man. Connie has a minimum offer on Kirsch cards of 10%. Almost anything else you will take or entertain any percentage off based on how long it's been listed. Exactly. There's a lot of things in play. That's what I'm saying. It's like I don't have a cold number, like, like many people have said that 30% or whatever. Or to turn it around, if you get an offer of 70% worth of, if you list it for 10 and you'll take an offer of 7, let's just say, as a minimum. I don't have a hard percentage like that. I'm more in Connie's camp where like kind of evaluate it based on certain conditions. Like she mentions, if it's been listed for 4 years, I just want to get rid of it at a certain point. Yeah, there's a lot of different things in play. I'm on Team Connie with this one big time. Everybody laughing at Todd's misfortune about sitting on his volume button somehow. I'd love to know how that happened, by the way. You beg to differ, Mark. You've been selling old buttons for 4 months, and they've gone as high as 102. It's what you sell. John's brainchild is you list, you sell. And this is certainly not my brainchild, but it really, the more you do this and the more you talk to other people, it does always come down to, it depends on what you sell. People have great sales days. People have lousy sales days. It depends on what you sell. That's all there is to it. And most of us here sell ephemera. At least the majority of the stuff we sell is ephemera. I know a lot of people sell other things. I do too. But ephemera, as a general rule, I think, in a few years of doing it, is a long tail proposition. So you need tens of thousands of, don't need, if you want to do well long term or consistently, you need a lot of volume when you have long tail items. Or you're going to sit and wait and have 0 sale days like I did, because I don't have enough yet. But I'm going to get there. I have the stuff to get there, that's for sure, which is 90% of the battle. It's just a matter of putting them into these scanners and into these great machines we have and getting them listed. And then I should be fine. But it depends on what you sell. If you sell stuff with through the roof sell-through rates, you're going to do fine. You're probably not suffering and thinking, oh, sales stink. It's what you sell. Gives you a better idea on value. Yeah, let the market dictate, right? It's rare for me too, but I actually think it's a healthy practice to get into, to just, even in postcards or even in anything you sell, just throw even like one auction out there, just kind of see. I guess you still have to have some eyes on the item, obviously, but if you throw up something that's fairly, likable that people are into, and just kind of, with me with records, like I said, it's true. You're like testing the waters. I think this record and Discogs and all these other sites say this record is worth $50, but you know what? I have $1 into it. I have 3 copies of it. Let me do a $10 auction and see what happens, and see what the market will bear. I think it's a healthy thing to do once in a while, to get a pulse on what the market is at a given point. Doing right with the bizarre rainbow things. Is he in the house again? Had to be done? Okay. Makes sense. Nothing to lose. That's right. In the words of Kiss, you got nothing to lose. Anybody a Kiss fan? Old Kiss fan? There's my boy Popeye. Kiss. We talked about Kiss, actually. Early Kiss, I used to love. In the 70s, I love Kiss. I'm out at Dynasty, which is kind of like disco-y songs, even though it's some good stuff, 79. But I used to be in the Kiss Army when I was a kid. Love Kiss. But after 79, I'm out. Mark just did a video on auctions, and was it titled Auctions Are Terrible or something? Upfront fee for auctions. Again, Canadian pricing and Canadian structure for listings, I know, are different than the U.S. equivalent. Oh, wow, I'm behind on chat. 8 minutes. Sorry about that. What is that, Dawn? Mark's auction video. Carl, how much is that fee? Thanks. 28 cents. Look, Dawn dropping links. Dawn, that's what Dawn does. Dawn drops links with the best of them. Those videos were good. I'm going to catch up. Thanks. Hi, whoop up. 28 cents. Rarely do auctions. Yeah, depends what you sell. Sold an ad. Congratulations, Purple Stalko. What kind of ad you sell? You care to give any details, or you are a private individual that doesn't want to share their good fortune with the masses? Thanks for this one. Find anywhere. Barbara, you do a few auctions a week. Wow. Yep. That's always the greatest thing, right? Started at the lowest you're willing to take, so you won't be disappointed if you get, which often happens, unfortunately. You run a 7-day auction and you get one bid with 30 seconds left and you get your asking, your starting price. It's better than not selling it, I guess. But it's a roll of the dice, but you could win too. You could get that fevered pitch thing at the end. The last minute could be like, a bidding frenzy, which is what you want if you're doing auctions or whatnot. Your basic level store, you get 250 auctions and collectibles. Oh, okay. That's a lot. To me, that's a heck of a lot of auctions. I've never come close to. In my history, I don't think I've done 250 auctions on eBay in 30 years or whatever it's been. That's not been 30 years, has it? 20. When did it start? 97-ish? 25 years? Your basic level store. Okay. You can hear me now, Lori. Yay. I got to catch up, folks. I'm still, how far behind am I? 7:17 and 7:20. We have 5 minutes. How long have you been doing this? Dawn's been doing this since the age of dawndom. When they offer 50%, you can offer has to produce a sale. You counters. Oh, I gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. 50% is, in general, to Connie's point, it depends on a bunch of different parameters. But in general, a 50% offer on whatever the thing is, to me, is at least worth, playing ping pong with, at least throwing out a counter offer to. Pretty much that's my, again, even though I said I don't have a hard rule, I think it's a reasonable thing, around half for almost anything. Less than that, I'm definitely not going to accept, and I'm probably not going to even counter on, but I might, depending on all the things we've talked about, conditions, sales, how long you've had it up, how much of a profit you already anticipate by, even if you sell it for half of your listing, are you still making enough profit to warrant getting rid of it? Oh yeah, that's awesome. Hopefully I inspired a lot of people. I'm certainly not the first person. There's a lot of very big ad sellers out there. I don't know if they were on YouTube necessarily, but I saw, the occasional YouTube video about ads, but they were kind of like, just like a one and done thing. Hey, did you know you can take ads out of a magazine? Okay, next. So I decided to make it I really love doing them. So I just made a little series about it. And hopefully it inspired several people to, it's like anything else. Sometimes you don't know unless you know scenario, right? Isn't that the expression people use now? Like, it's true. If you didn't ever think of that, and there's a million examples of that for me too, from watching other shows, like, oh, wow, I never thought of doing that. Well, for a whole bunch of people anyway, that, have written me over the time I've been on and stuff, they're always like, wow, I never thought about taking the ads out. They just think magazine, Mr. Magazine, a great example. But, many people sell magazines and have for many years, and maybe it just never even occurred to them, or probably more likely is they don't want to do the work, quote unquote, work of cutting them up. They'd rather just say, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. If you got a magazine for a quarter and you could sell it for $20, God bless you. That's tremendous return, right? Me, I like to cut them up and get hundreds of times, my investment. Over time, though, that's the key. Over time. It's not tomorrow. I'm not going to sell 57 ads from this magazine in the next week, most likely. If I do, you'll be the first to know. But I'm assuming they're gonna come in slowly over a period of time. But again, with the amount I have invested in it, which I think is probably 15 cents maybe in those magazines, because this is a separate lot. This wasn't part of the Big Life magazine one I talked about. 15 cents a piece, maybe. I mean, how could you possibly go wrong? Dawn, you just found hundreds from Great Uncle. You put them in a box 40 years ago when your parents were going through them. Mario, you keep track of how many you list per day a week? I was, Kelly, but lazily I stopped. I had a spreadsheet which just told me how many I listed. I think it's a good idea to keep yourself in check, though. I created spreadsheets. I started for January 1st. I started doing it. It lasted till like middle of February. And like anything else, you miss one day and then I missed 2 days. I'm like, oh, I got to catch up. And I had to go back. And it became admittedly, laziness. It's one of those things you just kind of have to keep a structure and keep doing it. So no, I haven't kept an exact list, but I think it's a good practice for sure. And that's what keeps you going. Yeah, it keeps you accountable, right? You set goals for yourself. I think it's a very healthy thing to do. Mark says, yep. Some how it goes. Now you look for small and high value. I thought you might. Yeah, I used to, again, early Kiss for me. 70s Kiss. Yeah, Dynasty's it. Dynasty has a couple of decent songs. X-Ray Eyes, if you know, Jim. Love the song X-Ray Eyes. But like Sure Know Something is a disco song. I Was Made for Loving You is the ultimate disco song. 2000 Man is great by Ace. Love Ace Frehley, by the way. It's got to be the best guy. But yeah, that's when it really, and that tour, the 79 tour, they were really over the top. I mean, they were always over the top, they Kiss, but disco-y and flashing lights. And it was just a different, hard rock and early Kiss. Phenomenal YouTube channel for the Midnight Special, the show, if anybody remembers that. 73 or 4, I think it started. It was around for a while. Just like, does anybody remember Don Kirshner's rock concert used to be on TV? I remember that. Well, anyway, Kiss there's a channel on YouTube for Midnight Special, and they uploaded like the last week or two a bunch of Kiss performances. They do She, Black Diamond, really good, like 75, 76 Kiss, phenomenal. Pre-Destroyer Kiss. Absolutely awesome. And in like stunning quality, HD quality. It looks like it was done last night. If anybody's a Kiss fan. Early Kiss, absolutely. Alive, probably the pinnacle for me. Destroyer's the pinnacle. Destroyer's their Sgt. Pepper to me. That was their zenith. Love Gun's okay. And there's like a decline till you get to Dynasty, and then I'm out after that. You say that. I really like their music. Aside from when you're 10, me anyway, I was like, oh my God, they look awesome. I like the songs. But now I know Keith's a musician as well. They have some really good songs. Like I could just put on a record and listen to the songs. I don't have to see them and the smoke and the blood and all that stuff. I dig their early stuff is fantastic. But the song Parasite. Parasite is a phenomenal song. Hotter Than Hell is a great album. Like just a great rockin' album. They tune down a half a step, which I don't like. A lot of bands do that. But great stuff, man. Just a hard rock and good band. That, yes, of course they had a gimmick. But doesn't everyone? Don't you have an eBay gimmick if you sell on eBay? Dawn is a lot of help. Dawn is the best. That happens to be the Queen of Canada as well. Very interesting and addicting. Would that be Prinance? Oh, yeah. Oh, did they get that to UK? Guy's crazy. He buys like 20, 30 Tampax ads at once. Got me too, which I was excited about. It's very addicting. Could have worse addictions. Absolutely. Yes, she does, Mark. She makes the internet work for her. Since we got internet 6 weeks ago, my igloo is lit. There you go. Helpful is probably one of the better adjectives to describe Dawn. She is helpful to a fault. That's right. Well, Jiminy Philip, you have definitely inspired me. Good. You're excited to contemplate cutting ads out of magazines. Eek. Do the research. Watch the videos. Don't be afraid. Start off slow. I'll tell you what. One of the biggest things to remember. This is a really. I don't know if I've ever shared this. It's not anything like it's not a revelation or anything, but most people that pick up magazines, it's inevitable you're going to pick up a lousy magazine. The cover, watch the video again that I just did today. The magazine I'm speaking so highly of, the cover is ripped. And you'll see that all the time with the back cover and the cover are usually, not always the best condition. But the beauty of selling ads is you don't care. You don't care about the cover necessarily within reason. As long as it's not infested with mold or anything. If it's just ripped and torn and has pencil on it, you don't care. You care about what's inside. So my suggestion to you, sheet picker, if you're a little hesitant about doing it, is go ahead and find a magazine that's in lousy shape within reason. Again, the cover's ripped. Most people would walk by and think it's a lousy magazine. That one you might feel a little less, traumatized by getting out your scalpel and cutting the ads out of it. Do something like that. Start off gently. Throw them up there, see what happens. And you might be really inspired when you start selling ads for 15, 20, 30, 40, even $5, $10. You say, oh my God, I just sold one sheet of paper from a 70-year-old magazine, that most people would have thrown out already. Sort of slow. or go right into the deep end of the pool and just get the best magazine you have and tear it apart into pieces and realize that the value of those independent components, dwarfs the value of the magazine. Because if you're doing eBay and stuff, you're trying to make money. If you want to preserve magazines, don't buy them. Unless you are a collector of magazines, you just want to have magazines and keep them in a pretty shelf somewhere. That's cool. But if you're a reseller and you want to make money, recognize that the value that's contained within them. It's mind-blowing. You recently bought 2 brides magazines from 80s, sold for 25, 30. That's cool. But again, you could have sold 2 ads and made that much money, Lori. That's my contention. Although the bridal magazines, they're cool, but obviously they're going to be 90% bridal ads, right? Or bridal related product ads, which is nothing wrong with that. But you might not get as much value. So if you bought them for nothing and you got them for $30, I'd be happy. If I bought it for 25 and sold it for 30, I'd be miserable because they don't even ship media mail. Oh, just so you know, Sheep Picker, if you're interested, the ads do not go out media mail because they're media mail. One of the big things with magazines is it can't have advertising. And if you're selling an advertisement, that would be the epitome of an advertisement. So they don't go out media mail. You have to mail them first class. The beauty about it is it's just a sheet of paper. So I've mailed as many as Kelly could tell you because he's bought a bunch from me on Whatnot. When I do Whatnot auctions with print ads, I fit like 25 ads, let's say, in one shipping envelope and still been under £1. Like you could get tons of pieces of paper in there and still be in the first class shipping bracket. So it's not an expensive item to ship. You think you're going to go back to the antique mall tomorrow and see if a dealer added More Life magazine for $3? Yeah, you can't beat that. If you could just walk in a place and find magazines in decent shape for $3, yeah, it's a steal. Absolutely. Me too, Lori. I loved it. Check out the YouTube channel, Lori. In fact, maybe I will put a link in for that one because I found myself watching. It's ridiculous. Linda Ronstadt, like just great stuff. Really great stuff. And they made Bee Gees of all things, but early pre-disco Bee Gees, which is actually really good stuff. Stunning condition, like HD quality, like I said earlier. They just uploaded a bunch. There was a channel out there already. I think they've upgraded it or something. Like just today, we have Ted Nugent on the Midnight Special. Creedence Clearwater Revival on the Midnight Special. Let me put a link in here. Suggest everybody go here. Blondie. I used to love Blondie when they were like punk. Here you go, everybody. May the Midnight Special shine a light on you. Check out that channel if you dig music. You won't be disappointed. There it is, everybody. Click on that. Save it. Let me go back. Love Midnight Special. They Make You Dance. Black Diamond is a tremendous song, man. Absolutely. So is She. I love that. The version that's on Alive? They do that where they add that ending part. The octave stuff. Live, Ace Frehley is just phenomenal. I love Led Zeppelin is my number 2 band all time. And Ace is obviously a wannabe prodigy of Mr. Page. And he he does his best pageism things, but he's just so good. Sloppy and fun, but great. They were great rock songs. I agree. Yeah, Beth, I know everybody. That turned on a lot of people. The sappy ballad, of course. Remember the Halloween special, guys? Kiss Meets the Phantom. Paul Lynde. Queen of Canada is the ultimate in helpfulness. You're very something. What does to a fault mean? Like she's so helpful. It's ridiculous. It's a good thing. Good point about rip covers. Yeah. There you go. It won't hurt your heart to do so. Go get some lousy magazines, Sheep Picker. No, don't get lousy magazines. If you see beat up looking covers, still open it up. Make sure that a rip doesn't go through to the first 40 pages, But if it's just the cover and the back cover or even the first page or two, but the meat of the magazine's in pretty good condition, then, like I said, you'll feel less bad. And you get started with that. And I promise you, it becomes, especially when you start seeing some sales come in, I think it'll be a lot less hard to do. Puddings, I don't know. I don't think I've ever come across a woodworking magazine. I would imagine they do. Any magazine, Is there a magazine that doesn't have advertising? I mean, that's how they pay for the magazine, right? The right to advertise in a magazine is what gives them the money, aside from subscriptions and newsstand purchases. So I would imagine woodworking magazines would probably have a decent amount of ads. I don't think you're going to find, Coca-Cola ads necessarily in a wood magazine, but I don't know. Maybe for somebody that is into woodworking and likes to collect stuff, or ads about maybe the machinery that was used. Sure. I would argue any magazine is going to have some cool ads, man. Absolutely. Old Lady at Heart. Yeah, you are. An old soul, as they say. You see a local Facebook listing 15 life mags, 40s. I mean, that to me, that's steep. To me, that's steep. Because if it's only 15, whatever the math is there, 20, 40, 60, was that 30 something dollars each? No, I'm not doing the math. Hold on. Let's get the calculator out. 95 divided by how many? 15? 650 a piece. I mean, you're going to make your money. You sell one ad, you'll pay for the whole thing. You'll pay for the whole magazine. So it's up to you. If you don't have any other options to come across, it's definitely, for me, a sweet spot. Mostly 40s is a definitely, piques my attention when I see mostly 40s. Love the 40s ads. But 650 a piece is a little steep. But again, if that's what you have access to, and you definitely work on them and you cut all the ads out and you list all the ads, you can get, 15 times 20. You could get like 300 ads at least out of that stash. And even if it's $3, that's $3,000. Excuse me, $10. That's $3,000 more or less. It depends. That's a little steep for me as far as a per magazine cost, but I'm kind of spoiled because I've gotten them for so cheap. Estate sales. That's what I tell everybody. Go to, if you have estate sales at your disposal, places you can go to. I think almost every magazine we've ever got is an estate sale, other than Facebook Marketplace, which is where we got the lion's share of the Life magazines. Great. That's another thing. And I mentioned in the series, one of the first parts, about sourcing. Facebook Marketplace, good old Craigslist, still viable, I'm sure. People don't understand how valuable magazine ads are. And a lot of people that do estate sales, magazines are just kind of seen as bulk, taking up space. They just want to move them, get them out. And that's why we swoop in and get them out. Yeah, I think that's too much personally, but you'll still make a ton of money off of them. You'll just have a little more, your cost of goods will be a little higher. So no collecting magazines, only your favorite sports people on the cover. You're only collecting antique books, history, and donkeys. That's funny. Okay. If this isn't great timing, just 1-300 railroad automobile ads. Get out. What is up with people selling ads for nothing? I mean, that's disheartening. But congratulations, man. That's awesome. Donkeys. Yeah, donkeys are cute. Oh, please, Ronstadt. She's on death's door, unfortunately. She's supposedly doing really bad, which is such a sin. What a voice, Linda Ronstadt. But anyway, yeah, guys, check out that Midnight Special thing. I think anybody who likes good music will really appreciate this. And it's all upgraded. Like they've just listed in this last week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 8 new videos. And it has the date right up. Of course, Gordon Lightfoot's on there from 74. Hall & Oates, which is that's Kiss. Kiss Black Diamond from July of 1975 was listed 12 days. It was posted 12 days ago. You got Wango Tango by Ted Nugent. You got George Carlin, my favorite comedian. I got to see George Carlin in Vegas. What amazing. I love George Carlin. Brilliant man. A lot of Blondie, a lot of Kiss doing Deuce in 75, Jim Croce. Kiss doing She, which is like my favorite song. Just great stuff. A lot of Jim Croce, who died like right after that. 73, he died. He was in a plane crash. Journey doing Wheel in the Sky from 78. Great show. There's Ronstadt. I'm just perusing the the YouTube channel, everybody. Fleetwood Mac. Oh, I'm sure many people who like Fleetwood Mac have seen this already. Version of Rhiannon live in 76 on Midnight Special is just phenomenal. It actually blows away the record. It's much, much, much heavier and more passionate sounding. Stevie. Marty, how many ads do you have listed? How many ads do I have listed? A few thousand. I haven't checked in a while. It's obviously it's a moving target, right? Because I sell a bunch and then I list a bunch, so it's probably like 3,000 or so right now. But I could easily get, you know, 50,000. Your first album was a Creedence album, really. First album that you bought yourself. See, there's a great line for me. I have albums that my parents had, so I thought they were kind of my albums. But the first album I went out and bought, quote unquote, or I got driven to buy, was at a Corvettes. If anybody remembers Corvettes, I don't know if you guys had that. Maybe it was a New York store, but Corvettes in Staten Island. I bought a Three Dog Night album when I was about 6 or 7, with like birthday money. Whatever the album is called that has Shambhala on it, Lori. Shambhala is a great song. Black and White. I used to love Three Dog Night. I still do. Great songs. I bought that. I bought the Beatles, the Red and Blue album, came out in 73, same year, which is like a legendary greatest hits compilation. I bought those with birthday money. So that's like, I think around 73 or so was the first. 73 was a big year for me because it was the first couple of albums I ever bought on my own. And my first Met game, was also in 1973 on Willie Mays Day. Willie Mays came to the Mets the last couple of years. He was in the World Series when they lost that year. But my first Met game was in 1973 on Willie Mays Day. And that's probably something worth. I'll wait till he dies. He's like 90 years old now. It's unbelievable. But I have the program and stuff from that first game at Shea in 1973. Let the Midnight Special. Elvis album from Sandy. What album? A Gash in the Spine? Oh, man. And it gets into the actual, the body of the magazine? You just looked at woodworking magazines. Interesting. They didn't have that many ads? Yeah. I mean, it's such a specialized type of a product there, obviously. Even if it had ads, odds are they're going to be woodworking related. Now, if you get an auto magazine, and there's tons of those, they're going to have car ads and ancillary ads to do with cars, like tires and, oil ads and all that kind of stuff. You'd probably do really well with old car ads, old car magazines, if you could find them. Yeah, I know, this poor guy. But he said it. He doesn't want to do the work it takes, quote unquote, work to split them up, which is fine, because if you're getting, I totally understand the rationale. Magazines or anything else. If you can get magazines for nothing and sell them for $10 and 15, kind of like postcards. If we're getting postcards for $0.25 a piece and selling them for $7, it's not a great money maker, but you're making, many times over your investment. So that's fine. Same thing with magazines. Even using the example of getting the magazine, which sounds overpriced, but if you think about it, a $6.33 investment, if you turn around and sell the same magazine for $20, you're making pretty good money, on your investment. So there's nothing wrong with that. I was going to say it's lazy. It's not lazy. It's flipping. It's being a flip it, right? It's what we do. But, knowing is half the battle. And when you know that little magazine that, you could sell it for $15 on its own and be all happy with and proud of yourself, you're like, wait a minute, I could have sold one page of that magazine for $15. And then, project that out times 50 or times 20 or times 30, whatever. And it's like, what have I done? And many people do that. You just bought a big lot of woodworking magazine. Really? There you go. That's an interesting. I can't believe so many people are into the woodworking. Check out your local antique malls. For magazines? Yeah, exactly. Almost every antique mall I've ever been to has magazines at them. Like you said, on the floor or in the corner. That's the one down thing about the antique malls that we frequent around here anyway. I still haven't found. I'm still on a mission to find more postcards because everybody could use more postcards. Haven't found a guy selling postcards exclusively yet, like a postcard booth. And in these places, like Kelly says, like with magazines on the floor, sometimes I'll see somebody, I've said this 100 times, I know in shows, but for those of you who are new, sometimes there'll be like a little bundle of like 50 postcards in a tin can with something, like it's a hodgepodge of items, I haven't found a postcard shop or a postcard booth, and I would love to find one. Hey, Johnny, what's going on, man? Cajun Roots Reseller is here Monday to Friday, 8:30 in the morning, must-see TV, Cajun Roots Reseller YouTube channel. Check them out every day if you know what's good for you. Leave a thumbs up. Great conversation with fellow resellers. And Johnny is, of course, the most gracious to a fault, as we said earlier. Gracious to a fault, always helping out fellow resellers. So great to have you as always. The last 1240 magazines was from a bookseller. They had a bank box shoved on the table. Yep. It's a classic case of people either not knowing what they have or not caring what they have. For me, it's estate sales. It's kind of the same idea, like estate sales. The magazine that I did the video about today was from an estate sale with a bunch. So I have like 20 or 30 of those 1920s era ladies' home journals that we got at an estate sale, like 20 of them. I really don't remember what we paid. Maybe $5 for all of them, $10 maybe. That's why I'm averaging like 15 cents a magazine. No, Dawn Wright. Thanks for putting the kibosh on Linda Ronstadt. No, she didn't die yet. Sheesh. She's got Parkinson's and she's been going down hard for several years. Yep. Always keep your eyes open. Yeah, she's still alive, but I've heard she's in really bad shape. I know. You know, Dawn. You ever listen to Dr. Hook? Of course. Absolutely. And they're all over the Midnight Special. You'll see Dr. Hook on the Midnight Special too. Easily get 50. Yeah, I know. No, that's a challenge. You're right, man. And to your point about the easily meaning I have the volume to easily justify having at least 50,000. But you're right. Putting that into practice is the whole thing. So that's a big aim of mine. Between not just ads, but between ads and postcards. Yes, you bought the TV, the KTEL record. Sure, absolutely. I got a Monkeys Greatest Hits off of KTEL on RCA, a Blue Label Monkeys. Man, I forgot what it's called. I used to listen to that forever. That was like 76-ish, which I actually saw on eBay. I was thinking of buying it because I can't find my original copy. And it's a memory of being a kid and loving that album. Used to get things off of KTEL all the time. Def Leppard? I'm not a Def Leppard guy. I do love, you know what song I love? Bring It On the Heartbreak. I love that song. I like some of Pyromania, but as we said about being out at Dynasty, I am completely out on Pour Some Sugar on Me and all that. That's garbage to me. But even Pyromania gets a little but I like some of the songs. But Bring It On the Heartbreak is great. That's the album before Pyromania, which I can't remember what it's called. You have 20. Wow, that's a lot, Dawn. And counting. And you've been a machine with since you've been able to, post operation, all that. You've been listing up a ton of print ads. You list, you sell, right? Oh, Dawn. You know what? How Jailhouse Rock? You probably have about 2,000 in your queue to list. Wow. Yeah, exactly. Easily, if you got to 2,000, 2,000 is a lot. 2,000 print ads is a lot, I think. And remember that, because you're a postcard guy primarily, you're going to get a lot more for print ads, basically, than you will for postcards per item, usually. There's exceptions, of course, but if you're like me, as far as postcards, and most of them sell around $10 or $12 or $7 or whatever, I can't think of a print ad I've ever let go less than 10. And that might be like after a sale and after a markdown and after a back and forth. Sometimes I'll get rid of them because what I need to do sometimes is, you want to keep at a certain level, which I do. And I know there's people that sell anything for way cheaper than you would sell things for, right? There's people that sell 99-cent postcards. With print ads in my head, I want to maintain a level of pricing. I really don't want to dumb it down and go down, bring the whole industry down, if you will. So I try to maintain a certain level, and I'm not going to let an ad go for $2, even though in theory I'm making money hand over fist with a $2 say on a print ad, because if the whole magazine was only 15 cents and I'm talking less than a penny an ad, right? So if you make $2, you're making gigantic profits. So once in a while I will, I just said I won't let an ad go for less than $10. I probably wouldn't. However, if somebody's buying multiples, that's a game changer too. I've had that happen. I'm sure it's the same with postcard people or anybody else who sells things in volume. If somebody swoops in like the Tampax guy and says, I want to buy 40 of your ads, and can you give me $10 a piece? Absolutely. Volume discount, baby. But yeah, I try to maintain just my own individual level. I want to keep my pricing kind of consistent and at a decent level, not price to the moon, but something where I want to make a good profit. I want to make the marketplace, I want to contribute to help make the marketplace a place of value. That's all. I keep it maintained. Because I really do believe it's justified. Even though we get these things for nothing, people that collect them love them. And they're very, very happy when they find things. Sometimes they've been looking for eons, for a specific ad, as silly as it sounds, or a postcard or whatever else. Stupid pieces of paper, as Popeye calls them. They really are stupid pieces of paper. But people collect stuff. People collect stupid pieces of paper. A stamp is a stupid piece of paper. People collect these things. And I want to kind of maintain the integrity of the value of them. That's all. Truth is funny. Funnier than fiction, they say. Oh, okay. Are we quoting George Collins, CJ? That's a brilliant man. Yeah, it's almost. I need more room for my stuff. George Collins. Anybody else ever seen George Collins live? He was amazing. We saw him in Vegas, the MGM Grand. He was so good. If you were not shipping, I think it would be cool if old frames put. Yep, a lot of people do frame them. And you could do that. Kelly says he goes to antique malls. You'll also often, at least by me, in antique malls, they'll sell framed print ads. I mean, they're not in like luxurious frames or in basic little plastic frames, but they sell them for like $10 a piece or whatever. To me, that's too much. Like, I don't know. Again, prove me wrong. Go on eBay and go search for an ad that's framed. I mean, maybe they'll get a little more, but I'm not paying $10 to make two, I know, it's unbelievable. She just put the kibosh on Linda Ronstadt. I mean, I agreed 1,000,000%, Lori. I love. And I appreciate it more and more as time goes by. I wasn't really into the whole thing she did with Dolly Parton and Emmylou Harris. A little cheesy. But we always say early Kiss, early Linda Ronstadt, and early, I even mean into like Blue Bayou, like 77. I mean, just phenomenal voice. She puts her own stamp. She used to do a lot of cover songs. She kind of cut her teeth doing cover songs, She was a country-ish kind of first, but then when she did like Blue Bayou and she did Buddy Holly songs, or When Will I Be Loved, and all that stuff. But she made the songs her own. That's not an easy thing to do, to take famous songs, do covers, and make them your own. You've been thinking about displaying some of yours in frames? Yeah, cool. Absolutely. They're very frameable. They are little posters. These print ads are. The Queen of Canada can't be putting death wishes on legendary performers, though. That's not cool. But, she already said she's sorry. It was a mistake. We'll move on. If you mattered and framed an ad, but eventually wrinkle for a minute. That's a good point, Chappie. It could. My theory is always do what you will once you get the ads. I put in the verbiage of my description, which nobody reads. I know nobody reads anything, but in my description, I talk about that. Like, they're perfect for framing, if you so choose. There's different things people do with what they collect. I don't know how they display them. If they display them, if they put them in a drawer, I don't know. Depends on what their level of collectingness is. But I always throw that out there as it's a great item, especially the really big ones to frame. They look fantastic. They do look cool. I'm going to wrap it up in a couple of minutes, guys. It's 8 o'clock, 5 to 8. And my back is just killing me right now. They don't make money on one postcard. Numbers game is a great expression. Absolutely. It is a numbers game. Everything's a numbers game. Dollar buy is the worst. They take forever. Yeah. No, that's okay. We weren't bashing her. Yeah, it's always good to lot things up. Congratulations, Keith. I'm glad to see it's working. At the last hour, last minutes. That's awesome. Hasn't worked for me yet. Nothing for 2 hours, but that's all right. We'll just keep listening. You sold a World War II ad that's depicted a railroad. Let the buyer know they were going to frame it and put it in a museum. Very cool. I've had buyers from museums, literally a museum, buy stuff from me, which is like a privilege. A curator of a museum buys a specific product from me all the time. And it really is a good feeling to know that. And that's kind of the point. If anybody again that has this like hesitation, they don't want to cut up a magazine. I'll give you a little tease. Not tease. It's what I said at the end of the video today. I really believe this. Like, you're salvaging and you're saving items that would otherwise usually be thrown out or ripped or whatever. Like, think of the estate sales. If they weren't sold, they'd probably just throw them out, these magazines, if nobody bought them, right? So you're helping preserve them, in individual pieces for people that really cherish a Budweiser or a Coca-Cola or an old car ad that they love. You give it new life. You breathe new life into these pieces of paper that have long been dead. So don't worry about that you're killing something or you're ripping apart stuff and it's sacred. You're not. You're giving new life to individual components of the magazine. I really believe that. And I know it's a fact. And it is great when you get feedback or messages from people. Thanks so much. You've completed my fill in the blank collection, or I've been looking for this. It feels good to know that you made a difference for somebody. Yep. Yeah, it's a solid amount. Do you have one of our albums from someone? Yeah, she did the Spanish thing later on, the Mexican kind of stuff. Miniature poster on your tags and Etsy. Yep, absolutely. Oh, you're very welcome, Sandy. Thanks for coming in. So everybody go check out Midnight Special YouTube channel. I put a link in. Watch it. There's something for everybody, no matter what kind of music you like. Except Backstreet Boys, Dawn. People do throw away paper. Sure. It's considered a nuisance. It wouldn't be an estate sale if they thought it had value. It's like just stuff to get rid of. Carve it up. Carve it up with reckless abandon, I might add, Chappie. You're saving the individual components of that magazine. You're making money on it. You're giving it to people that, especially something that old, that they might never have even seen in their life. Or there might be one of on the planet, Thank you, Sandy, again. Do what you got to do, Chappie. Absolutely. Everybody do what you got to do and go where you're going to. Think for yourself. Beetle quote there. Have a great weekend, everybody. Happy Mother's Day again to all you mothers, all you who have mothers or have had mothers before. I wish you all a very pleasant and wonderful evening. I'll see you on Monday night for the listing show. We'll see. We're probably going to keep doing print ads because why not? Maybe we'll do some postcards too. I'll be listing a lot more this weekend for sure when I can, except for tomorrow because I have band practice, and except for Sunday because it's Mother's Day, and except for Monday because it's my anniversary. But other than that, I'll be listing up a storm. Have a great weekend, everybody. I will see you on Monday. Thanks again. Bye.